October 1st, 1960, Nigeria celebrated its independence from British colonial rule, which marked the birth of a new nation filled with hope, pride, and immense potential. The country adopted a federal parliamentary system of government with Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa as the Prime Minister and Dr. Nzeogwu as the ceremonial president. Together, they symbolized the unity of a diverse nation with over 250 ethnic groups. However, beneath the surface of this newfound freedom lay deep-seated divisions. Ethnic and regional rivalries, political tension, and economic inequalities were already threatening the fragile unity of the nation.
When we hear the world crying out for peace, we may receive the inspiration to deal with these intractable problems and be able really to devote all our resources to the advancement of mankind by applying those eternal truths which will inevitably persist long after we ourselves are utterly forgotten. Thank you, Mr. President.
By the mid-1960s, the optimism that followed independence began to fade. Political corruption became rampant. Regionalism dictated governance, and ethnic loyalties overshadowed national unity. The Western region descended into chaos as political crisis escalated, with violence and unrest gripping the area. Accusations of election rigging and widespread corruption further eroded public trust in the civilian government. In this climate of despair, a group of young military officers believed that drastic action was necessary to save Nigeria from collapse. In the early hours of January 15, 1966, Nigeria witnessed its first military coup, spearheaded by a group of army majors led by Major Kaduna Nzeogwu. The group, meticulously planned over months, was aimed at overthrowing the civilian government to address the corruption and ethnic favoritism that plagued the country. The coup plotters targeted key political leaders and senior military officers whom they accused of steering the country toward disaster. Coordinated attacks were launched in Kaduna, Lagos, and Ibadan, striking the power centers of the nation. Tragically, 22 individuals lost their lives in the violence. Among them were Prime Minister Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Northern Premier Sir Ahmadu Bello, Western Premier Samuel Akintola, and Finance Minister Festus Okotie-Ebo. These assassinations shook the nation to its core. In addition to the assassinations, the coup plotters sought to control key infrastructure, including major waterways like the Niger and Benue rivers. However, their plans faltered due to poor execution and communication lapses. Major Emmanuel Ifejuna, responsible for Lagos operations, failed to capture General Johnson Agwai-Ironsi, the army's commander. This critical oversight allowed loyalist forces to regroup and ultimately suppress the coup. Major Nzeogwu, speaking via Radio Kaduna, declared martial law in the northern region. He justified the coup as an effort to end corruption, tribalism, and injustice. However, the perception of the coup was deeply polarized. Many Nigerians saw it as an ethnically motivated attack, as the casualties were predominantly non-Igbo leaders, while Igbo politicians and military officers were largely spared. These perceptions sowed seeds of mistrust and further widened ethnic divisions in the country. In the aftermath of the failed coup, Acting President Nwafo Orizo announced the transfer of power to the military. General Johnson Agwai-Ironsi emerged as Nigeria's head of state, and that marked the end of the First Republic. Ironsi's government, however, faced immense challenges. His introduction of the Unification Decree, which abolished the federal system and centralized power, was met with outrage. Especially in the northern region, many northerners viewed this move as an attempt to entrench Igbo dominance, which further escalated tensions. The coup and its aftermath set off a chain reaction of events. Tensions reached a boiling point, culminating in a retaliatory coup in July 1966. This counter-coup led to the assassination of General Ironsi and numerous Igbo military officers, plunging the country deeper into crisis. The ethnic regional animosities that the coup sought to eliminate only grew stronger, ultimately leading to the Nigerian Civil War, a devastating conflict that claimed millions of lives between 1967 to 1970. The coup of January 1966 remains one of the most defining moments in Nigeria's history. It marked the beginning of military interference in governance, a trend that persisted for decades. While the coup's leaders sought to unify the nation and eliminate corruption, their actions unintentionally deepened divisions and paved the way for a turbulent era. Today, as we reflect on this event, we are reminded of the lessons of history, the need for unity, transparency, and the strengthening of democratic institutions. Only by learning from the past can we build a stable and prosperous future for Nigeria. Thank you for watching. Let us remain committed to fostering peace, understanding and progress as we shape the future of our great nation, Nigeria.